It is well known that Mason Miller is the cream of the crop when it comes to relief pitchers this year in 2024. Nobody's really sure if the A's will even be willing to trade him, but I've got 4 other potential targets comparing directly to Mason Miller that are a lot more affordable for the Orioles. Let's take a look and see if one of these other guys are good enough for the Orioles to save a little bit of prospects and still get similar results in the back end of that bullpen. Now, there's no denying that 100 plus miles an hour is just impossible to try and hit in today's game, but some of these other guys that we're going to compare against Mason Miller are close enough. Now, I'm not going to sit here and feed you with some crap that these other guys are just as good as Mason Miller. Mason Miller's very good, but what I'm going to present you is some comparable stats here that how close these guys are in other situations and other metrics. And would it be worth kind of maybe saving some of these top-end prospects for one of these other very good relievers instead of going all out for Mason Miller? So I'm going to post this graphic here comparing these 5 guys. Like I said, Mason Miller is the cream of the crop. But you can see by this value that some of these stats are a little bit closer than one might think. And I'm going to throw up some other charts here and stuff so you can kind of compare the type of pitches that they have, the velocity, their swing and miss rates. Let's kind of get into all that. All right, this first graphic, let's compare their fastballs. You can see Reed Garrett gives up the most home runs on his fastball and has a pretty high batting average against it. Mason Miller, a 138. Now, Estrada is pretty good, 185. But look at the K percentage, 41% from Miller, 38.7 from Estrada. Next, let's compare these breaking balls. Now you can see Reed Garrett's got one of the better batting averages against him, along right there with Mason Miller. Now, look at the K percentages. Miller's at 53.4, but everybody else is still over 33%. Exit velocities are all very low. This next graphic, let's look at the amount of strikes thrown. Mason Miller almost to 70% strikes, but everyone else is over a 63%. Now, this graphic I think you'll find interesting. This is the percentage of swing and miss on all the pitches. Mason Miller, 21.4. But Estrada and Cruz, they're right there. Now, this one might shock some of you guys. This is actually the amount of barreled balls that these guys have let up this year while pitching. Mason Miller, 4. Cruz, 5. Fairbanks, just 1. Estrada, 6. And Reed Garrett, 5. This tells me that these are elite bullpen arms, and they are all very close to one another. This is probably my favorite graphic right here, the inherited runners. Now, an inherited runner is when you're coming into the game with runners in scoring position or on base, and you're just coming in. So you can see that that doesn't happen often with Fairbanks and Miller. These other guys are constantly being thrown into the fire. What I'm looking at is Cruz being pretty elite. He don't let many people score. Now I'm going to read off some stats to you guys about each one of these guys individually while I kind of look at some of their highlights. And at the end of this, you need to let me know down in the comment section below which one of these guys might you rather have to save the prospects than Mason Miller. Now, Mason Miller is a 66.7 first pitch strike thrower with a 19.8% swinging strike rate with a 68.3 contact rate with an average fastball at 99.8. As you can see through some of these videos, he is very hard to hit. Next, let's talk about Reed Garrett. Reed has a 66% first pitch strike, a 16.8 swinging strike rate, 63.5 contact rate with an average fastball of 96.6 miles an hour. Now, Pete Fairbanks is an interesting guy coming out of our division here. So he started off kind of slow, but he's getting hot recently. 52% first pitch strike, 10% swinging strike, a 76% contact rate with an average fastball of 97 miles an hour. Now we've got Fernando Cruz. He's an interesting guy being a two-pitch pitcher. Fastball, split finger. But he throws 54% first pitch strikes, 18.9% swinging strike rate, 59.8% contact rate, which is fantastic, with an average mile per hour fastball of 94.4. And last, we have Jeremiah Estrada. He's going to be the hardest one to kind of pry away because San Diego is pretty good this year. But we got a 57% first pitch strike, 19.1% swinging strike, 62% contact rate with an average fastball of 96.5. So now that we've kind of seen all these things, right? Miller has the hardest fastball. Reed Garrett has the best first pitch strike. Estrada gets the most swinging strikes. And Cruz has the lowest contact rate. Like I said in the beginning of this video, these are some guys that are pretty similar to Mason Miller. They're going to cost a lot less. Would you be willing to acquire one of these guys and or somebody else in the league to save some of these top-end prospects? Let me know down in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.